Hey everybody, Tom Lenfesti, back at you on a bright and sunny Thursday. Again, no daily counsel video yesterday. We did our first Facebook Live event, myself, Lauren, and Mike. And overall, besides a little technical difficulties, which everybody's had these days, we really appreciate all the comments before, the emails, and then the discussion and kind of chat points during the live event. We may try to do those kind of as we go forward as well. It provides more of an interactive opportunity, a little bit longer format if we need to go longer to answer questions and everything else. So again, appreciate everybody. That'll be on our Facebook page for at least, I think, the next 30 days or so if you want to go look at kind of what we discussed under that Q&A. So today we're going to go ahead and turn it right over to Lauren to kind of give us an update of what she's talking to clients a lot about, I think, on generational planning and how we deal with the multiple generations. Lauren?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Again, thanks to everybody that tuned in yesterday for the Facebook Live. That was a lot of fun. Today, I wanted to chat a little bit about some of the items we're seeing pop up in our communications with clients. A very common concern that we've touched on is just how do I take care of loved ones? So we're actually doing a lot of what we call generational planning. So that can be essentially someone comes in, they want to get their own plan done, but they also want to get their parents lined up to have a consultation as well of like, man, we've been putting this off. We know our parents have been putting this off. Can we help coordinate schedules and get them on a call as well? So that's ultimately a lot of fun. We first and foremost are so thankful to that relationship and being able to help a family at multiple generations. Openly for us over on the back side of things, there are a lot of efficiencies to working within a family. So understanding how mom and dad's plan works, understanding how that relays into the kids' plan. It's just a more efficient way of doing it, having that open communication. Of course, with proper consents from clients and all of that, but getting it all done, getting it all buttoned up at the same time. We like to pass those efficiencies on to our clients. And so we provide discounts for those generational planning because, again, it's just so much quicker to be able to hop on, get it all done at the same time. So that, again, we see pop up in two different dynamics. One is older adults taking care of their parents and tagging in to make sure that if, God forbid, something happens to mom or dad, I can step in, I can help. That's very, very common right now. Additionally, parents with children that may be over 18, but parents are still helping out with a lot. Whether the child is now home from school, living at home, or in an apartment, remote somewhere, having the peace of mind that, again, God forbid something happened with that child. Doctors don't talk to parents if the child is over 18. We've had a lot of those conversations where if it was maybe the family doctor growing up, they're sometimes a little more fast and loose with that. They'll disclose, but once you get to the big hospital systems, again, HIPAA is a very real thing and they are not supposed to release any information. So to prevent having to go to guardianship and all of that, getting the healthcare power of attorney documents in place, having that peace of mind, having that plan in place for that younger individual. Again, it's just starting those conversations. Additionally, now is a great time for that family planning because most people have a little more free time, whether it's on the weekends or at night. I'm hearing a lot of people that are doing little Zoom calls with their family to talk about some of the practical stuff of, hey, I put together this list and it's going in the firebox and here's where everything is. And just our conversations with the family kind of jumps off additional communications on, hey, what are your healthcare wishes? What do you want for your long-term care? So anything we can do to help with those conversations. Communication is key within families and not always the easiest. So that's been a lot of fun, helping with those generational planning clients, getting them some peace of mind. So we're encouraging that more and more. So if you know anybody, give us a shout. Happy to begin that conversation with your family.
Yeah, I think it's always, Lauren, I've kind of looked at it as the analogy, good or bad, of kind of the dominoes, right? Well, we're working with, mom or dad or, grandma, grandpa, and then we can work with mom and dad and then the kids. We really
Exactly.
make sure kind of the things are lined up and it's not the one domino that's sitting over there and like, wait, you
Yeah.
guys didn't tell me you were doing that, right?
Yeah.
So, we've had clients that have used multiple advisors. It's kind of the same thing. Communication and really tying that together is what we like to do. So that generational open communication, platform really works well. And I know you and the team do a great job of deploying that. So thank you so much for that. Mike, what can you tell us? I know the Treasury Department continues to release some guidance on, the SBA loans, and I think just general update of what you're seeing in the business market. What can you kind of update us with today?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Thanks, Lawrence. Good to be with you again. Hello, everyone out there. Appreciate the comments and the likes and the subscribes we're getting. Yeah, I'm going to use the time today to talk about two items. One is that SBA update that we've been following and tracking as news develops out of Washington as well as locally. And then the second is just a high level of kind of what we're seeing in the corporate and business planning practice. So first, the SBA and the Treasury have given some updates. I would direct everyone to the Treasury homepage, U.S. Department of the Treasury, and you can get there at home.treasury.gov. There's a red bar on that page, and they've got a link for small business assistance related to COVID-19. We had referenced this in an earlier video, but we'll go ahead and link it in the description as well, so it's easily accessible for all of you at home. They are continually updating this website and kind of putting the salient documents there that business owners and advisors can review. The two most interesting ones and most recent as of yesterday was the interim final rule that was put forth by the SBA, which is basically the SBA's commentary, the Treasury's response to a lot of questions that have come in by and between, I would say, borrowers and then lenders and SBA. I understand that lenders and SBA are having regular calls. I believe they occur roughly daily in the afternoons. And again, as we see this move from concept to implementation, right, from congressional legislation into real-time logistical play out as loans are being applied for, those applications are being processed, and then closings are being set up for distribution of proceeds. We are seeing questions develop from the borrowers, from the lenders, and the SBA and the Treasury I think are trying to give some guidance. So the website that I previously referenced for the Treasury is going to have a link to that interim final rule from the SBA. And then they've also got a really good link for frequently asked questions regarding the Paycheck Protection Program loan, the PPP, if you will. And those questions and answers, there's 20 of them. They're really good. I encourage everybody to go and take a look at them. They range from, should I include, for purposes of calculation, an independent contractor or sole proprietor's compensation in the payroll calculation for purposes of what type of lending do we qualify for. By the way, they answer no now. That's the most recent guidance. And it ranges to, simple questions like, what is this 8-week period we're discussing? When does it begin? And they do a really good job of boiling it down, making the statutory references and saying, it's going to begin on the date the lender makes the first disbursement of the loan proceeds to the borrower. So I think some really accessible, pertinent questions that give some very direct and short responses. Some of them might be a little bit different than is initially reported. But again, as this is sort of a fluid process, we're seeing the Treasury, the SBA, work with the lenders to adjust, I think, those practical concerns that are coming up in the application process. And I view that as a good sign. I think what it means for the borrower is this is going to help, hopefully, the free flow of funds, the free flow of loan proceeds, that assistance that we're having so many calls with clients who are in desperate need to get those funds, to get operations back up and running for when the doors open get people employed again. With that said, I don't want to be, too doom and gloom about this and say that it's not working, because I do think it's getting better. And I think we're seeing other positive indicators in the marketplace. For instance, with our corporate and business planning practice at NC Planning, we typically handle a number of merger and acquisition deals every year. We are typically serving as either the buyer side counsel or the seller side counsel. It's a trend that undulates throughout the year, right? We see spikes, we see busy times for business sales, business acquisitions, and then we see some slower times. And I would see right now we're seeing an uptick, which is a good sign. And it's an interesting factor given the state of affairs. But we have 3 acquisition deals we're currently in the mix on for closing within the next 30 days. And I think, while COVID-19 raised some questions throughout each of those questions are largely resolved and we're moving forward. On top of that, we're talking to folks that are looking to sell, professional practices, and they are moving along in negotiations. We are getting ready to put out a letter of intent on one in the coming days. And I think that is a good sign on many of these business transactions that are currently in the negotiation phase or the discussion phase. I think one of the nuances that we're seeing play out is that we've got to get back to business as usual and then give about a 60 to 90 day window to make sure operations are back up and running, the economy's back. And then I think we'll start to see a lot more business closings. My estimate for those, is probably an estimate of actual closings spiking late summer, early fall, once operations are back and things are moving forward. But the good news and the message for business owners is I think we're hopefully on the upswing and hopefully coming out of this. And we're optimistic that the economy is going to be back.
Thanks, Mike. And I think that's, important one to see, while still crisis is there for so many business owners and trying to deal with it, or this new norm of when can I get back up to speed, especially life and business has a way of continuing forward, right? And a lot of those things are, still happening, right? Timelines may be altered, as you kind of noted. They may be, hey, kind of once everything's back up and running, then we'll close on those different deals. But I think the biggest thing is I've had conversations with certain business owners that said, we were recession proof, but we weren't disaster proof, right? And overall, I think the key part of that is no business for the most part really was. We know there's some businesses that are doing very well right now, but overall, everybody has been impacted by this one way or another. And so I think, buyers on one side understand that. Sellers should understand that too. It's not just them. If you're a professional practice that's been shut down, it's all of your peers as well. And so, there's still individuals and groups out there looking to buy, and those deals still will go forward. So hopefully it's part of that snapback that everybody's hoping for, at least in certain industries, certain segments. So I think that is good, positive news. Mike, Lauren, appreciate the time today. And we will try to do an update tomorrow for everybody to close out the week. Thanks so much for watching. Again, questions, comments, let us know in replies and, tags to the social media. Definitely follow along with us. And we appreciate everybody. Hang in there and we'll talk to you tomorrow.